Okay, now I've got the recorder going. It is Wednesday, the 30th of January, 2019, and let's give the markets a chance to settle down. AT&T's down at that $30 level. Okay. Okay, we've got AT&T. Okay, I was filled on AT&T. We'll figure out what we did later. Mickey D's. That's the other one I got to worry about. Is on. I'm on version 19. I'm on the wrong version. Come on, close. I knew I had something wrong. Okay. Let's do Hess. Get out of my way, asshole. Okay, let's go ahead and close that. Great closing order. It's closed. The last one I have to worry about is Mickey D's, which we in the middle. Hey, diddle diddle, caught in the middle. Okay. Monitor. Let's look at McDonald's. Come on. Come on. Great closing order. Strangle. Okay. It got filled as well. Okay. All right. Now let's get watch it. There's your Anthem. It's a 295. Let's see if it holds there. BA 385. It's pulling back. It's also one of those big gappers. Striker 175. We'll figure out what we did there. It looks like all three of those were probably profitable, but we'll see. It's a matter of how much. Striker looks okay. Apple is up 5%. Lily. Royal Caribbean. Striker was my favorite for looking at the daily chart in the after hours. Yeah, it's over the swing levels. The all-time highs above 175. I don't know. It looks like it's really having trouble holding it. There's the big gap up in the S&P. Let's look at today 5. But yeah, Striker. I probably wouldn't want to go Striker less than say 178.50 halfway up into this candle, somewhere in there. But you wouldn't be wrong 178 technically. Let's look at BABA. BABA. Let's look at her on a daily. BABA's probably going to 169. If I looked at BABA, analyze. Let's look at options out in probably 15th of March. We're probably looking at the 155s. Yeah. Now it's going to be elevated premiums at the moment because it's moving. I'd see if there's I should bring it over. This is what BABA looks like. I'd stalk it. You may or may not be able to get anything lower than this 163, but the premiums are going to be pretty high at the moment. And if I go look at the risk profile, it's got to get up to about 167.50 before I get profitable, and that's halfway between here and 170. I'm not so sure that that's a good enough buy. Although we would have been up 15 cents already, 20 cents. So yeah, that's the problem with having to trade options on, say, that earnings day or something like that. So I like to try to avoid the options plays on earnings as far as getting into them. What I was doing, selling them overnight, was fine because I'm basically playing the volatility crush where it's sucked out all that premium if it stays inside. So let's give BABA a chance. Papa BABA. Anybody want a stock under $10? VIPS looks pretty good here. We do have to get over the 765, and I will warn that there's a bit of a gap, and there's probably earnings here pretty quick. Let me look. Yeah, earnings is probably going to be somewhere in the next week or so, but it's not determined yet. So just be careful. The one thing you need to look at when we're in the height of earnings season here is definitely before you let the day close on you, but try to look at earnings before you jump into something. And if you can't, if you don't have enough time before earnings or whatever, you may just want to skip it. Let's see what that BABA's doing. Baba, where are you? Well, that's earnings. There we go. 163.30. All right. The premium's being sucked out again on BABA, so it's starting to subside a bit, especially if we could come down here and go to 161 or so. If we do some sort of intraday J hook or a 5 or 15 minute, it'd probably look better. Okay. Anybody have anything they're looking at out there? Help me, please. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start looking at these stocks over here. It's Celanese. I think Celanese either reported or is going to report, so be careful. I think it reported already. Over 98. Let's look at Huntsman again. Oh, Huntsman gapped up and it's heading towards 23.75. It's been on our watch list for a while. Dollar General, DWDP going towards $60 level. XLB sectors. How's my gold doing? Gold looking a little toppy here, but I'll hang on to it for a bit. You don't get leaps and then jump out at a heartbeat. I've only got one contract on that puppy, so I could potentially on a pullback add if I'm interested. Oh, forgot to resize that puppy. We've got McDonald's up for 3 days, huh? Good thing I got rid of the McDonald's when I did. It's in rally mode. What I'm doing is I'm watching right in here this 2-day high and 2-day lows, but primarily I'm looking at the highs. Allied was also an earnings stock today. It looks like a breakout about to occur. It does have some resistance up at around $27 though, so careful. The old Pittsburgh Plate Glass PPG probably headed to 107.5, so it's probably got a couple bucks up in it. Whoa, good thing I got rid of telephone when I did. It's already down to 29 bucks. I would have been a push. All right. Okay, so it is 9:43. We had a report on at 10 o'clock. What was that? Penny home sales. So I'll be watching my Pulte Homes at 10. Let's see what happens there. Let's see what that Striker's doing. Striker just kind of plodding along. Baba's pulling back, and those March calls are now down to $12. So there was $1 of the premium's already been sucked out of it. So patience, my friend. Was this patience hell? I want to trade something. Right. Okay. RHI, we haven't looked at that one. It's a pretty low volume trader. It's only 230,000 shares. The loss was Oshkosh, Bagash. You know, I really don't like low volume traders. AMD we haven't looked at. I should have done that already. It's opening up at 21. It actually opened at 21.50. It's already at 22.35. Active trader. Yeah. probably couldn't have gone long before until it got over 21.75 at the earliest, and you'd have been up 50 cents. And it looks like it's trying to top out a little bit here, but we do have some. I saw a couple of big buyers stepping in there. Now we're selling off a little. All right. My favorites right now on the earnings there would be AMD. Oh, sorry, Baba and Stryker. And McDonald's might be a player here, but it's 180 some odd dollar stock, and it took off. They must know that I stop in and get one of their chicken wraps occasionally. Love them, love them, love them, especially when they're on special. Okay. Huntsman. Huntsman gapped up, and it's just basically stopped dead. Was there any news with that? Nah, no news. That's a pretty good, healthy gap on there on Huntsman. Okay, and there's the Huntsman chart that we've been looking at. I've been looking for a move and hold above 2150 with the stop under 2060, so 90 cents, and going to 2375. I didn't jump in. Probably should have. Probably a little late. Maybe see if we can get some sort of retest of the breakout areas. Maybe we'll call it 2175 to 22. All right, let me go back here and see what I was able to do. Let's go look here. Under McDonald's. Okay. Today. January 30th. Oh, before I forget it, tomorrow I have a doctor's appointment at 8:30. They promised me that I'll be out in time to make the open. I don't. Let's put it this way. I would not bet your money on it. I'll be here as soon as I can. I'll have them. I'll have the charts up for you, but I'll get here as soon as I possibly can. This is a prep for my surgery on the 22nd, so I have to do this. All right, we sold. Okay, for the McDonald's, we sold one at 651. We bought back today at 406. Plus $245. And let's look at telephone and Hess. With Hess, it looks like I had a push. I lost $8. Sold at 4. And bought probably could have waited. Let's see what that's doing at the moment. Yeah, it's down to 372 now. I should have probably waited a little bit. Okay, let's go to telephone. Okay, we had 6 at 135, and then bought back 6 at 109. Okay, 0.35 minus 0.09, 156. All right, 3 trades, 2 winners, 1 tiny loser that could have been a winner and should have been a winner. I kind of mismanaged that just a fraction with our Hess. You never know whether it's going to take off on you, though. The whole idea is to, what I was doing at the Open was running. So, oh well. I'll take it by and large. Okay, let me look, Jeff. JD. I'll look at. All right. Here's the first thing I do on any trade. I look at the daily, and we've got some resistance right here around 24.20, and we got some up here that looks like 25.50 or so. Let's call that. Nice round numbers. I'm gonna call this 25 and a quarter, 24 and a quarter. I mean, all right. So you got $1 and a quarter to go. Balance of power ain't all that great. Stochastics up there. The fact is that right now we're up here at resistance. I want to make sure that it broke out. And then now you're looking at, what do you say, March? Calls. Let's look at JD. All right, it did do an intraday pullback, which is good. Let's see if it's even got the strike that I'd be looking at is probably the $22 calls, which is in the money. It's about a 0.71 delta. It has decent volume and really decent open interest, almost 8,000. Really tight spread, 291 over 293. Okay, if I do that, and then I look at the risk profile, to get to break even, you're going to have to get to $25. The problem I've got is that our target is 25 and a half. So, and then when's earnings on this puppy? Earnings March the 1st before the market opened, tentative. It has been trying to bottom, but it's been in a downtrend for quite a while, but it's been bottoming action since November. The last earnings went gap down. I don't know. That's a tough one. It's not in a trend at all at the moment. Sorry, I should be bringing this up for you. It's not in a trend. It's basically flat. So Could it work? Yes. Could it not work? Yes. So I, you know, it's kind of a crapshoot. I don't like crapshoots. How did you find JD, and why are you looking at it? Did you make some money in a prior trade maybe, or um, somehow it came up on your watch list? Xerox continues its move from yesterday. You see, I'd be if I were you, I'd be looking at stuff on this 2 day high. You're a farmer. Okay, no problem. I'm an ex-fighter pilot, but don't hold it against me. If a fighter pilot can do this shit, anybody can. you know, um, we're so dumb that they don't give us sharp objects. We might hurt ourselves. What it, when I went to pilot training, there was a sign over the top of the door entrance to the flying squadron. Said, if they can make penicillin out of moldy bread, we can make a pilot out of you. uh, yeah. Hey, thanks for joining us, Jiffy Jeff. Now, for you and some of the other folks, Thursday will be your last day here for free. What you might want to consider is going over here, products, Top Gun Trading. We have a $14 30-day trial. You go down to the icon. We've got great performance. We trade and talking at the same time. Could be difficult. What do you write? Trade, take an announcement after trade, take it. Yes. No, I don't do it at the end of the day. I'll do it. Well, I'll do it as soon as I can. The first thing I do is I talk to you about it as I'm trading. Then I document it. That's the best I can do, Richie. And what I'll do is now that I've kind of got a little break in the action, and my number one thing is trade myself. You're looking over my shoulder. I'm telling you what I'm doing as I do it. Number two, number two priority is try to find other candidates for us to trade. Maybe you, maybe me. We've got I've got 300. I got about $400 in the bank. I'm probably not inclined, unless we get an absolute perfect setup. I'm probably not going to trade anything except the oil report and the FOMC announcement this afternoon. Look how we're pulling back in the SPY. That would be something I'd be looking at SPXU or something like that. Or looking at earnings. See how XPXU took off. That's the daily I don't really need. And this is what then the third is document what we've done. Now, I trade, no, monitor, account statement. Okay, and then what I can do here, the quickest and easiest way is for me to just grab the ones that I've got. I have my closes from yesterday as well. But okay. And so now what I'll do is I'll document this in the announcements page. Whoops. Now I'm using, let's get back out a little bit here. Let me find out. We have that kind of support here around 264 half. Let me go out to a 30-minute chart and maybe an hourly chart. Who knows? Yeah, you can see how we're kind of in this gap. We gapped up to, I mean, we're gapping and crapping. We're gapping down and snapping back. I mean, it looks like we're a Mexican jumping bean. And we're just, what is it? Maybe a cricket on crack. Boing, 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 bouncing all over the place. I mean, this is not easily tradable. Not at all. I'm not sure exactly. I think earnings has a lot to do with it. You know, the sentiment, China, trade talks. We got FOMC. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Did that answer your question there, Richie? Mr. Richie Rich? Okay. Oh, you're welcome. And again, you're absolutely right. It's very difficult to walk and chew gum, but walking and talking is pretty difficult to say the least. Let me get that there. All right. And I'm entering the data right now. Although you've been able to see it here. MACD. Yes, Rick, very well said. I'm just trying to show you're looking over my shoulder. I'm explaining to you what I'm thinking and what I'm doing. If you try to follow me, it's going to happen way too fast, and you gotta learn how to fish yourself. But well done there, Rick. Well said. Like these sold. Oh, what was that one? markets are trying to hold that, a recapture of the 264 half. It got down to what? The top of the box range here around just 264, a little higher than that. Okay, and okay, sold 60. I wish it was 1009. Two Hess. Yeah. It's struggling there on the S&P. Okay, 245. Let me try this again. 245 plus 156 minus 8. 393. Okay. Alrighty then. Okay. Anybody have any questions? General questions? Stuff about, what the hell are you doing? What are the patterns? You know, we're kind of right now. It's 10:10. Oh, we've had the report come out on the new home sales. Let me look at my Pulte Homes and find out what she's doing. She reversed a little bit. I'm really out of the box. Well, AMD did not continue. Let's see on our earnings again. It's still the leaderboard up there, but it's all because of the gap up, the shooting star kind of thing. Your Anthem's now at 301. We did hit 306. Striker, no. We haven't looked at Ever before either, have we? Evercore. Oh, Gap way up and pull back. Don't like those. Probably have to get over 90 to 90 and a quarter before I would be interested. This is more like a bear flag. Big, big aircraft company BA gapped up, pulled back, and it pulled back up to even. It's got earnings call at 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. I consider that to be a little bit different than the other one. Problem is, it's got $390 price, but it's also got resistance around there. Where is that? 393 ish, 392 something. Yeah, I call it 392 and a half. Now it's going to be awfully spready, and you'd have to do options, and not sure how that's going to work. Robert Half. Let's try to find something that's reasonable price here for trading. Ally. Ally does have decent volume, 1.1 mil. I'm going to skip over Avery because it's only got 136,000 shares on earnings day. Baba gapped up, and it's just bouncing between about 161 half to 163 half. No trend. Axta's half a mil trading and a bit light. Wow. Oshkosh gapped up and basically crapped out. Came back to the 72 half, that breakout level. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to look at Juniper gap down, tried to pull back up at the open first 5 minutes, and has gone flat since. NTCT. What I'm trying to do is look at some stocks that have some reasonable prices here. Axta up 2.5%. Anything over 26. 500,000. AT&T ran like a scalded dog. Sure glad I got out when I did. Well, my Hess is now a negative. Wow, that was all over the place. They didn't like what was being said on the conference call, it looks like. And I've been in line for an $80 profit instead of an $8 loss, but you never know. When you get these openings, you gotta. The trade that I was doing for the volatility crush is that you sell the next morning. I say at or near the open. You have to probably let it open a little bit, but it looked like it was just basically going to hold to 53 to 52 and a half. I probably got a little bit anxious. Critiquing myself. There is a video. Let me find it. I want to say that YouTube. There's two videos that I want to point out. There's an overview session. Okay, we have it's only about 27 minutes. That basically gives you an idea of what we do here, setups and the like. And what was the other one that we were looking for? Well, where did it go? Oh. And here's one on how I trade gaps. All right, that one is an hour and 15 long, so it's a little bit longer. So what we I think you would like seeing those, and you could learn some things from them. Then again, that's my opinion. Let's look here. Boy, Tupperware's taken in the shorts. Tupperware was a nice short out of the box. It only gapped down to about $30.75. It ran to 27. Nice. And it broke 30. $30 was the key level for support on Tupperware. This level right here, once it broke, boom. Lost a couple of dollars. What was it? $2.50 below that 30. Beauty. Would have probably tried your patience right in here a little bit, but the first $2 of that short were really no pain at all. Okay, let's look at AMD. Stars. Let's see what she's doing. Trying to come back from the dead. Constellation Brands is used to be one of my favorite traders, along with URI. It's fallen on hard times this last few months. I keep an eye on URI if it gets going over 133. $10.21. Let's CNC. Centene And it's coming up into the resistance area. It's had a pretty good run. Oh, it's cone. C1. Cyrus One has earnings out on the 21st, but it looks like it might be trying to do a run into earnings over 54. Got at least probably 56 in it if we break. Cirrus Logic. Xilinx, you see, let's look at our Xilinx. Xilinx had this breakout level around 95, and it gapped up on earnings, and now it's doing a 45-degree run after that. A lot of stocks, after they do a gap up, and it looks like there was a, probably some shorts were using around 95 as their cover area. This is, I'll say, a short covering rally, but it's not atypical of when people when a stock gaps above resistance levels. I mean, big resistance levels. And let me leave you on this one, and we'll do this. WMGI. I'm pulling this from the. Okay. Clack. Yep. I said clack over 105. And even though the stochastics is in the overbought territory, go back and look over here. You can stay overbought longer than we could say solve it, trying to short it or bailing out. So the whole idea is that watch price levels. The volume of price level right here. I think we're probably going to pause at 105, but it could just be intraday. The volumes are such, though, that it's probably going to go sideways for a little bit. But watch for the breakout. Breakout over 106, 107, we probably move $10. Let's keep an eye on that puppy. And if you look over here, the way I've got it set up, 2 days highs, one like Pebble moved over 9, then over 27. You're taking forever to update. Come on. Come on. All right. There we go. So we went over the 9, then we popped our head over the $32 level. And this right here is telling me I need to take a look at them. AER. So that's how you read the tea leaves here. It's got earnings coming up. You can see that on this. Walmart's making new lows. Wow. Walmart's falling out of bed. What happened? And go ahead and look at Lab News. Interesting. They launch it online. Sports fan shop, and it goes on. This is probably China related. They obviously sell a lot of Chinese goods on their stores. Spotify. Yeah, I wouldn't do anything ahead of earnings. TSS. Yeah, nice bullish engulf after earnings. Kind of up. It could run. Stochastics RSI is down at a point where it could help. It looks like some of the REITs are popping up here, like VNO, Vornado, PEB, REG. Boy, we're getting some slow action here. Regency Centers, ADP, Breakout Now was on my list a couple days ago. Probably not going to do anything to service now until it gets. I wouldn't do anything to get above all this mess. All right, let me pull this out of your way. Oh, 1027. Let's get on over to oil. Let's crude 53.87. Let me put this on day 3. Time frame. All right. All right, the lows are around 53.70. Let me look at this at a 15-minute offside. Yeah, 54 to the upside, about 53, 10 to 20 on the downside. Okay. All right. And let's look here. Let's look here. All right, that's 1 minute to go to the release. We're not doing anything till about 2 minutes into the report. Hi, Jeff. Okay, if I'm going to day trade the S&P, the major indices, probably a 3-minute chart, nothing lower than that. In the overview, I think video, I'd talk about that because the 2-minute and 1 minute have a lot of noise. Now, I'm on a 1 minute on the oil, but I'm really trading on an aggregate of my brain of about a 2-minute chart. Okay. In fact, why don't I go ahead and put the 2-minute up there instead? What that does is it will eliminate some of the knee jerk. 5 minutes for day trading for regular stocks, could be 3. What I normally like to do though is if I get later in the morning or the afternoon, I like to watch the trend on the 15-minute chart. And obviously I start with a good daily. Every day trade has to have a good daily. All right, let's get over here again. All right, we've had the release. And why am I stopped? Oh, there we go. We had nothing there for a while. I think Thinkorswim may be having some problems. Because this right here should not be the case where it froze for a minute. All right, we're getting our breakout. We won't trade for the first 2 minutes. We're already a minute in. But what I'm seeing here, I'm not going to trade this right now. I'm going to sit because this is so far behind reality. No, this is ridiculous. Now, is it catching up with reality? Well, maybe. Now it's caught up. That first minute or two, it sure didn't like it. It couldn't keep up. And coming up on 2 minutes, so that $54 level. Okay, there's 1032. We've got our clearance to go trade if we want to. I'd love to see a high and tight doji continuation pattern here. Yeah. All right, I went ahead and bought one. All right. Okay, I'm out for $100. That was the goal, just to get in and out, basic scalping. And I look for the retest of the high. Let's get over here. Let's get this out of your way. Um, Monitor CL. I'm going to give you a copy of this as we did it. Okay. Okay. We were bought at 54.13 and sold at 23, and it went to 30s. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Oh, go away. Yep. If we look at the crude oil daily, that 54 half is going to be, that area is going to be a little bit of a bugaboo. Get over that, we run to 58 and a quarter. Then again, I'm not doing swing trades on oil. I don't have that kind of intestinal fortitude. Yeah, we got up to 54.34 for the day, and it's all she wrote. But it does look like oil wants to go higher on the daily. All right. And could we have stuck around a little longer? Let's just say what happens if you do it today, 3 minute. Yeah, that's if you want to hang on for 3 minutes, but that last 3 minute candle was from 86, 53, 80, 86, call it 90, 20, 20 and 20 is 40. That was a $40 candle. We had 54.13 up to 23. I just scalp them. I just try to add 100. Did anybody go to Rick's presentation last night? Thought it was very good, by the way. And I think he's going to post it up to his YouTube channel later today. But what happened is he talked about hitting singles and doubles. Well, that's what I try to do with crude because crude is so volatile. You get the little spurt, grab $100. Okay. Hi, Joan. How are you? I mean, just one of those things is, you know, I'm not swinging for the fences here, but I'm doing fairly well here. We've got let's see our performance. Let me bring this up. Launch it. I'm gonna brag. I'm gonna brag on myself just a little bit here, so you guys are gonna have to put up with me. All right. Now, obviously, this does not include today's. Yeah, well, I will right here. Let's do that. There's $395 today. All right. We're up $26,841. Ah. Well, you could watch the replay, Jeff. Anyway, we're up 26,000 since the 1st of May of last year. We're over $4,000 this month. This is January, really what has been considered one of the toughest months to trade. And this is the second best month I've had. So, you know, I'd strongly suggest that you guys may want to tag along. Can you do exactly what I'm doing here? I think so, but you might even be able to do better because I'm probably only risking $100 to $200 a trade. Now, some of these earnings trades the last couple of days, they're more of a bit of a flyer, like the McDonald's, the AT&T, and the Hess. Well, let's see, what was I doing there? AT&T. Okay. Oh, I know where it's at. All right. What we're doing here's McDonald's. I played basically a straddle here and sold. Yeah, it will tell you that you ought to not be doing this because you have unlimited liability. Well, you don't because I'm not going to let it go forever. My liability is I would be unprofitable above 191 half and unprofitable under 176. Anything in between there, I make money. Now, the closer to the strike price that I had, which was kind of an offset one, this open, I maximize my money, and or you maximize your money, you're basically looking at probably somewhere to a third or a half of what you had. So like 250 bucks. Okay, the other one we had AT&T. Now, AT&T was my worst one yet. It's not supposed to have moved this much, and it gapped down to here, and that's why I watched in the pre-market. Got in here early, but I sold out when it did a little bit of this rally here in that first 5 minutes, 3 minutes. So I got out quickly before it got below the $30. Okay, and that's why I got 150 bucks. Now, Hess was the other one. Now again, the worst that would happen if I had waited till right now is I'd probably be in a minor loss. Okay, in fact, what are we looking at? AT&T. Boy, this is taking forever to update. A buck and a half now. I got in at 135. I'd only be down 15 cents times 6. Yeah, I'd be down a fair amount. Not that I would like it. That's why I got out of it as soon as I could. Now the other one we had was Hess, and this was the tightest one, and it basically stayed there. And Hess crapped out after they started their conference call. It's basically flat, and we're trading now at 363. At one point, I think I saw 360. I'd only be up $80, but I lost 8. I got out as soon as I could early on, and probably didn't need to. Probably could have left this one going. All right. But so the whole idea is I'm not risking a lot, even though this sounds risky. Oh, you got unlimited liability. Well, the one way, if you're really worried about it, or if your broker won't play ball with you, what you do is buy protection on the other side. It cuts down on your profits, but if you're right on there, let's say I bought a $60 call, way out of the money yesterday. Well, that means that any time that's between that, I'm liable. If I bought a $45 put or a $42.50 put, something like that. So you get the strike in here and then puts on either side to protect yourself. Those are kind of earnings plays that I'm expanding into, but if I don't think, first of all, it's not for the faint of heart, and number two, it's not for the inexperienced. You have to have some training. And if you talk to Doug about what I've just done, he's going to croak. He is very, very conservative options trader, and I normally am a directional trader like Rick, but occasionally I'll do something wild. What I've done. All right. And these others right here, most of the times we see me get a fairly large trade, it's an options trade, but a lot of it's directional, and a lot of it is as risky as I just showed you how to do. Okay, I will probably not be doing these overnight tonight because I won't be here tomorrow morning to monitor it, but we'll see. If you guys have any questions about what we do here, the overview video is a good start. Go to the YouTube channel, sign up, and I think you'll be amazed at how easy it is. So we normally only take $100 to $200 risk on any one trade, and still turn into profitables. No. That was a futures trade. Sorry. So when we day trade, I will day trade futures. There's no way that I'm going to trade the options on that puppy. This is too volatile. And you see what it's done already? It's already pulled back to where we bought, where we ended up buying it to start with. So here's where the volatility is rampant in oil, and I just find where it's running, jump in, jump out. Let me see how long we were in that trade actually. I'm thinking it's probably less than a minute. Okay, we bought at 10:32.27 and we sold at 10:32.41. We were in for a whole 14 seconds for $100. Now, is that scalping? Yes, but that's what I do on oil, unless I could get a trend going. And around the oil report, that's exactly what I do. All right. Okay, 250, 182, 40. Okay. My numbers were a little bit off. I did the raw calculations for my trades today, so okay. No, 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 no. um, yeah. Buy high, sell low. No, no. Um, you know, a lot of times what people do that have them go against you, your trades. Let me ask the question, Jeff, and I'm assuming you don't mind chatting, and if you say I'd rather not talk about it, that's cool. I'm not gonna push the issue. But do you find a lot of times when you get into your trades that the trade goes against you fairly quickly? I'll say almost immediately. If it does, then most likely you're probably buying late, and that could be you could be buying at resistance. And Doug has some wonderful stories. He's great on these about what a stupid trader he used to be. He used to buy always looking for extra confirmation, supposedly being conservative, but he's buying right at resistance level. Yeah, and then um, another thing is if you stop out, are you setting your stops too tight? No, or you one. Now there's usually a lot of things. If people tell me um, what they what they're experiencing in their trades, what we'll end up doing is we'll end up drilling down and finding out what the root causes are. If people get too nervous and want to get out quickly when it goes the first sign of weakness against them, that usually means they have either a constitution that says they shouldn't be trading, or they've taken on too much risk, too many shares. Well, let me post out the. I believe I've got. I buy cheap expires today. So you've got an option that expires today. Did you buy in the money or out of the money? Because I'll call the gamblers buy out of the money options. Oh, okay. All right. There's a share sizing chart. Let me see if I can bring it up and make sure it comes up. Okay, open. All right. What this is, it's a $100 risk. And if we, on the spiders, okay, let's look at that real quick. Yeah, well, you're buying basically at the money, right? Um, which 48 Delta, what's the expiration date? Are you buying a monthly? How long are you expecting to hold this on? Now the thing is with the spiders, they've got they've got multiple expirations. They've got stuff that expires today, Wednesdays. They've got stuff that expires on Friday. So you're the 30 Jan. in minutes, right? Okay. So you were looking at the 265s there, and we're trading at 264.85. So it's basically all extrinsic. So it's out of the money. See, I don't like that. I'd rather pay another dollar per contract and pay and get, say, the 263 halves or 263s and get in the money. Then you have a 72% chance of being in the money. And if you look at the just start up here, where do you think that the lowest would be? And you know, you were saying 265, and I'm saying 263 and a half or so. 263 half is right about in here, and I'm going to have, oh, what was the whoops, my theoreticals are wrong. Okay, yeah, I have 72 chance being in the money. I'm 177.65, buck and a half. I got about a buck and a half in the money, buck 20 in the money. And I'd like to have some intrinsic value and not to have all extrinsic. That's the reason the point seven, even though a lot of people say, well, don't do that, go ahead and buy, um, go ahead and buy right in here, right at, 50-50, which is kind of what you're doing. And there's something to be said of that, really. You can do that and you'll possibly make money. I usually buy in the money a little bit because that's what my comfort zone is. But I understand where you're coming from, and I'll have to try that. I've not done it much. I tend to buy in the money. The only ones I do strikes at the money are the straddles, but I can see how it's got to go in your favor. It got to go in your favor by a lot. Then that's the problem. If you're putting way too much premium in there, and let's face it, the options market makers are not your friend. They're going to cover themselves. They're going to pump in premium on both sides. Well, okay, and that's cool. What I would ask though is your uh, how are your commissions? Are they okay? I mean, you don't have to pay a lot for your options trades. I hope you're not paying 7.95, because that's a killer. Um, okay, who are you with, sir? If I could ask. Uh, Toss. Interesting. Well, I negotiated a special rate with them a while back, and I was with Interactive Brokers, and they wanted my account. Um, there are things I like about them over Interactive Brokers, but I basically only have to pay. Yeah, I have to pay a dollar plus fees per contract. So really, I'm talking about a dollar ten, dollar 20 each way. So those that could be a killer. You got to make that. You're basically saying you're giving up. Now that's a fixed rate. It's 75 per, so it's a fixed and a variable. You're giving the market a really big head start on top of the fact that they're already pumping premium in. Um, Probably another reason for going in the money. If I don't, I want to say something, but I don't want to. I don't want to come across as flippant and rude and whatever, but um, how are you doing with those? You sometimes win, sometimes not. I would suspect that your win loss rate's probably going to be, yeah, if you're buying at the money, you're probably 50-50. Well, I was going to say it's gambling, and it's a fool's game, because if you're buying with a 50% chance of doing it. You've got to be. Now here's the deal. If you keep track, oh, I wish I had left this phone out of here. Um, my batting average is somewhere around 2 out of every 3 winners. Okay. Now today I had 2 winners and a loser. The loser was $8. But if you can keep your win loss ratio at anywhere near 60% and can allow your winners to in dollar wise to exceed your losers dollar wise, you're going to gradually grow your account. What ends up happening though is a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll get in the money a little bit, get scared, and take money off too quickly, and they take their profits quickly and then let their losers run. Yeah. Well, I don't know. You're not my kind there, Jeff. I mean, can we just shake hands instead of holding hands? uh, what a, what what I think is, if you say what you're doing or you ask me about it, I'll be happy to talk till the cows come home about some of the pros and cons. If you want a one-on-one coaching session or something like that, I do the coaching as well in 2-hour blocks. And if you want to have a free consultation, you can contact me and we can get together. No obligation. We talk about what it is you're doing, what you'd like to do. We put together something as far as a training curriculum, and then we go from there. And you're in charge of it the whole way. And you're going to get a lot of the room here. You know, you get a lot of people say, "Well, I can't afford your coaching sessions or whatever," but all you had to do is have one of those winners that I had today that pays for the coaching session. Um, the S&P here, we're in no man's land ahead of the FOMC. Let's see if we can back out here. This toss is going so slow today, and it is not my internet. So, we're in this range bound territory today, and I basically would say, guys, don't trade. Do not try to day trade. You got to find a place where you have an edge, and you got to find a place where where there's something moving on its own page, and where I find the best success. I love earnings season is because earning stocks move. I don't care what in the world the rest of the market's doing. There will be stocks that reported earnings that will move of their own accord. Now, they move better when they go with the market, or the market comes with them. But like Stryker here, it's not going anywhere. What was moving? Was BABA moving? No, yeah, it is. Okay, BABA finally moved. All right, I was sitting here jawboning, and I let it run away from me here. But basically, over about 163.5, when it got out of this congestion area, boom. Let's take this to a 5-minute chart. We see this 163.5 right in there. We had a move up, we had a doji that was trying to figure out what it wanted to do. Stochastics RSI coming up from the bottom. 163 half with a stop, say, under 163. You're risking 50 cents. The first one you want is 164 half. You take half off the table there and then incrementally take it off. That's the plan. Get a good setup, get a good reward to risk ratio. In fact, a very aggressive trader could go long 163 half and have the stop, yeah, right where we're at, about 163. Some people say, oh, I got to have the stop all the way down here to 162. I go, what? Let me show you why that's not such a great idea. Let me get the colors set. Come on, Mr. Color. All right. If I went long right in here on the breakout, I think it's called 163 half. I got the wrong one. Let me get the correct level. Let's say it was right up here. I broke out above that level. All right. I set my stop. I say right about here. If this stock goes up like it did, do I need to let it come all the way back down to this level right in here before I stop myself out? No, because if it's, what did I expect it to do? I expected it to continue moving. Shut up. Okay, and I was expecting it to continue rising. If it then rises and then falls back, okay, some sort of pullback is not out of the question. But I don't have to give it all the way down to the low of this, not quite the low of the day, but the low of this congestion area before I realize it's not doing what I expected it to do. So I shouldn't stay in the trade. I can get back in later if it subsequently goes up and gives me a good buying pattern. But what I'm going to say is buy it, play the levels. I would suggest, let's get magenta here. There's a buy level and a stop, and the difference between those is 50 cents. My first target is going to be double that. That'll be $1. So 63 half to 64 half. I'm going to take it off the table. All right. Now we said 50 cents. Oh, I can't bring it up there. Sorry. What I do is I look over there and look at my table. I go 50 cents. I want to risk $100. I can buy 200 shares. If I want to risk $200, I can buy 400 shares. So let's just say that I want to only risk 100. So I can buy 200 shares of this puppy. So I take 100 off the table right here. And I want to let it, here's the deal. You could either do it in round lots or half lots. You could either take, when it goes 64 half, 65 half, that's another. You take 50 off here. Okay, so you had 100 off at $1. You had 50 off at $2. Oh no, yeah, $2. And then you trail the last. Now, it dipped down there. Would you have been stopped out? Most likely. All right. So let's just say that we got stopped out again at the same level. So we ended up with 100. Okay, and 2. So we have 200 and 100. For $300. It is it's not about how much money you're making. Early on, while you're learning, it ought to be about the process. Do it properly. Analyze the setups, analyze the risk first, and then look at the reward. You've got to have both of them together. It's kind of hard to draw with the mouse. All right, so it's the risk versus the reward. So this risk and the reward, I'm going to have to say, can I get 2 times or more what I'm risking? All right, now let's take this off. Here's how I use the sizing chart. Sorry about the dog. All right, we were risking 50 cents, so I go down this table. Ah, you bugger. Okay, I told you to go to that one. Fine. I go down till I get down to how much the risk is, and I go over to my number. If it's 100, I go back and look up, and it tells me 200. If it's 200 shares, $200 I want to risk, I go up to there. And it tells me those are the maximum number of shares I can buy, not how many I have to buy. But if I want to risk a maximum of 100, I can always do less than that. Say the markets are iffy or the stock is too whippy. I can back off a little bit. I just can't go over that because I'd exceed the risk that I chose. So the whole idea for us is to manage our risk first, and then you can worry about the process, follow the process, and then worry about the results. All right, any questions? I hope that helps you guys a little bit. But it's really fairly straightforward. It's not rocket science. What it is, it's a juggling act, and there's a lot of math involved. But they're in round numbers. I already know that I trade in 200 or 400 share increments normally. If I'm risking 50 cents, I want to risk 100, that's 200 shares. If for some reason I can get it to 25 cents, 30 cents, I could probably do 400 shares. Okay, so I risked $120 instead. Okay, I can do that. So I can do it in round numbers, and then we could have done on that one if we wanted to risk $200 on a trade. People say, hey, you're putting in how many thousands of dollars into this trade? Well, yeah, but I'm not risking all of it. All right. Let's see here. The biggest problem you're going to have is, do you have enough money? And therein lies the difficulty. That's why having not enough money entices people. I don't say forces them. Entices some people to trade options. I caution you that trading stocks, you basically have to get in and figure out the direction and a good entry price. With options, you have to figure in 2 extra variables. Not only do you have to have a good entry level on the stock price and a good timing for that, but you have to pick out a strike price and how far out in the money you're going to do. So there is quite difficult extra calculations and variables. That's why I say one almost has to be good at stock trading before they can be a good options trader. That isn't always the case, but it sure helps. All right. Where was I going? Oh yeah. So let's just say I had 163.50 times 200. I got to have $32,700. That's to buy 200 shares. To buy 400 shares of BABA, I'd have to have $65,400. You could buy 100% of your account. Let's just say you had about an $80,000 account, which is really what I've got in this trading account. If you did, you'd be, quote, risking 85 to 90% of your account. No, I'm not risking that, remember? I'm putting it to work, but I'm not risking it. So this whole idea where you can only put 20% in any one trade, well, that's if you're going to let it go to zero. I'm never going to let things go to zero. So don't let the investment mentality creep over into the short-term swing or day trade rules. All right. So I basically have figured out that I can probably trade stocks up to about $165, $175 and feel comfortable. Now, I could probably trade a $300 stock and I'd have $60,000 in it. Okay. But that base eat up the vast majority of my account. Right. What I've got in this account, this is the I have an investment account that I buy and hold longer term. And then I have, I'll call it the trading account that was $60,000 when we started. And now it's at 85, 86, I guess. Allowing me to trade higher numbers of shares if I want to. All right, we're looking at 11:15. We're going to have the FOMC out at 2. I'll be back. I'm going to take a lunch break now. And I'll be back around 1:30, 1:45. We'll see how the markets are doing. I'd suggest everybody take a break because we're going to either get in one of two phases right here. Yeah, we're in a little rally ahead of the FOMC here. You're welcome, Jeff. And if you have questions, just pop them in, and we'll take care of them. You'll be trading with the black boxes, probably, or it's going to go nowhere. So I'm predisposed to go take a lunch break. I usually do that anyway around lunchtime. My journaling has proven to me that lunchtime is a killer for me. And usually the afternoons are as I'll make my money in the morning and give it back in the afternoon if I tried to trade. FOMC, different story. I'll trade for a few short minutes. But I'll be with you guys this afternoon. We'll be there between 1:30. It's 11:15 Eastern. Right? Yeah, but I do things as well. I do the books for my wife's insurance agency as well. And just take a break. Really need to. So where are you at there, Jiffy Jeff? Let's see. Right. Nebraska? Ah. Okay. For some reason, it's showing you in Pennsylvania. Anyway, it's probably cold up where you are. I thought it was cold today. It was 50 degrees this morning, 47, I guess, 49. Wow. One below. Nope. I moved to Florida 22 years ago, and I'm not budging. To me, a cold snap is when it gets below 40. All right, you guys take care.